everyone, and welcome back to Adrian's Life Advice channel. It has been a while since I've done an interview, but I had to make an exception for this one. I'm incredibly excited to introduce my amazing guest, my cousin, John Cashin. Now, before we dive in, I want to give you a little backstory on how we met because it's a journey I'm sure most of you all can relate to. So, I decided to do my DNA with Ancestry.com and with 23andMe because I wanted to find out more about my grandfather that I never met. And I also wanted to find out my roots, what countries did my ancestors come from. So I did a DNA test. And to my surprise, I found one of my amazing cousins, and her name is Crystal. And Crystal happened to be the owner of our family reunion page, which has the Millers, the Carpenters, and the other family members that connect me and John, which are the Cashils and the Brandons and the Langstons and so on and so forth. So I was so excited because I've been looking for this information forever. And also, like I said, I wanted to get my DNA done because I wanted to find out what countries my ancestors came from. And to my surprise, I found out that I was 76.4% Sub-Saharan African, leading 33% Nigerian. So I was so excited about that. And so I'll stop with that because I can go on and on and on. That's a whole story by itself, all the other countries and so on and so forth. But let me get back on track with the family bond. So I met Crystal, and Crystal, led me to the page. And on the page, I was able to find out about my grandfather's obituary. So she sent me my grandfather's obituary. She sent me pictures of my grandfather's mother, Lala, and her mother's mother, and my grandfather's sisters, and so many family members. It was just amazing. And so from there, I did attend the family reunions, and that's when I met my cousin John. A few years ago, we went to the family reunion in Rutherfordton, North Carolina, or some people say Ruffton, North Carolina. And then recently this year, we saw each other again in Charleston, South Carolina. We learned a lot about the Gullah Geechee and all those wonderful things. And every time I see my cousin John, he has so much knowledge to give me based on our family history. And he has books with our family stories, and it's just so amazing. And it was just so overwhelming because I was just like, wow, wow, wow. And so I was like, man, I have to really interview you because this stuff is historical, and I do want to pass the stories down to my own sons. And so without further ado, I want to introduce my very knowledgeable, experienced cousin, John Cashin. Okay, so John, what I will need for you
Yeah.
to do is
Mhm.
give us introduce yourself, and then afterwards, I would like for you to go back in history, let's say 1860s, and tell us what you know about our amazing family. And don't forget to discuss the books too. Thank you for coming, John.
Okay. Good to be with you, cuz.
Aw,
It's about time we did this. We're going to have to do some more. There's a lot to talk about just on my branch of the tree,
I know.
but I'm
Whew.
introducing myself as John Marcus Cashin. I'm named after my two grandfathers,
Wow.
John, Dr. John Logan Cashin Sr., Doctor of
Okay.
Dentistry, Fisk undergrad, Meharry DDS, and Dr. Marcus Carpenter Jr., MD, of Lincoln undergrad, and Howard Med, MD.
Wow.
He was born in Rutherfordton, just like his father, Marcus Carpenter Sr. And if you allude to the chart to the left, I don't know if you're seeing it.
I can see it.
Okay.
And before you get started, John, I forgot. I just wanted to say our connection. So basically, my great grandfather, Farewell Carpenter, and John's great grandfather, Marcus, what's it, Carpenter?
Carpenter Sr.
Carpenter Sr. were brothers. And so, so when you talk about numbers, we're like third cousins first removed. I found that out. Okay, I'm sorry. You can continue.
And John continues through my family tree and Herschel.
Okay.
On the Carpenter side, Marcus continues, and my middle name is Marcus. And my mother's middle name is Marie.
Oh, okay.
Named after Marie Ruffin Carpenter, my grandfather's wife. Okay, and she's Puerto Rican and Black, etc. I should say. And I'll show pictures of them as we go. Where do you want me to go from here? To the chart, or as I speak?
Yeah. Yeah, you can, if you want to, you can go in order, or you can go from the chart, whatever you feel comfortable. Yeah, how you want to do it.
Okay, I'm going to introduce the Cashins into the Carpenters. I've mentioned the Carpenters, but let me mention my grandfather, who I knew well.
Okay.
I was also, unfortunately, at his wake and funeral in 1976.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry, John. One more. You have the TV on. I don't know for sure if you want the TV on.
Oh, in the back?
Yeah.
I just left it on as a background. I can turn it off if you want.
I mean, yeah, because I think, yes, it looks very, very good, very exciting. I want people to be into it. Okay. It looks like a historical piece for real.
That's Eyes on the Prize, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Documentary. They won an Oscar.
Oh.
When we get up to, I was going to have that as a backdrop, but anyway. You want me to
it's
turn
up
it
to
off?
you. It's up to you. Whatever you feel comfortable with.
We're going to work up to that. We're going to work up to that. But I'm not going to turn the sound on or nothing. It's just as a reminder. Wanted to be inclusive. So, okay. Marcus Carpenter, MD, when he attended Lincoln in the 1920s, he pledged with somebody you've known in history quite well, Thurgood Marshall. They were line brothers for Alpha Phi Alpha at Lincoln.
Wow.
They both together next went to Howard University together, with Granddad going to medical school and Thurgood going to law school.
Wow.
Now, ironically, again, my sister ended up clerking for Thurgood Marshall in his last term.
Interesting, yeah.
Okay. And the other connection on the other side is one of my granduncles. Wait a minute. Too much noise. One of my grand aunts, Vivian Cashin, who's in the chart, she married Carroll Napier Langston Sr., whose father was John Mercer Langston. John Mercer Langston from Virginia was a state senator in the 1880s and ran for U.S. rep and won in the election of 1890, but he had to sue to be seated.
Oh, okay.
So he served basically 91 to January, or at least through the end of 1992. When he left, he went and founded Howard University's law school.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Now, John Napier Langston, Carroll Napier Langston Jr., who my brother is named after. His name is Carroll Langston Cashin. Okay. He's named after Tuskegee Airmen, Carroll Napier Langston Jr., the son of Senior, meaning the grandson of John Mercer Langston was a Tuskegee Airman. And he was a practicing lawyer. Both the father and the son both went to Oberlin College in Ohio. And then both of them went on to law school, but Junior went to University of Michigan Law School. And they were practicing law together in Chicago, though they were both from Nashville originally.
Okay.
And so Napier Jr., Carroll Napier Langston Jr., was also on the chart. He was a practicing lawyer and then got called up to be a Tuskegee Airman flight class of October 1st, 1943.
Wow.
So that's two additional families adding who were married into the Cashin family, who are married into the Carpenter family, who via you are a descendant thereof as well. So
yes,
I mentioned all these names so you see how, I mean, even my great-grandfather's wife, Minnie Brewster from Montgomery, Alabama, she graduated from Fisk University in 1877. Her husband, Herschel V. Cashin, was at Cheney in the late 1860s until 1870-ish. And he was a understudy of Octavius Cato, if you know anything about him. He served in the Union Army. Then he became I guess, instructor professor at what's now Cheney and some other Philadelphia schools. Wherever he could, he did. And he got a lot of blacks registered to vote. After the 15th Amendment was passed in 1870, ratified.
1870. Okay, right? 1870.
So the first election they could participate in Philly were the federal elections of 1872. He had gotten about, I forget how many total, but at least 30 to 34 or more or less were lined up to vote in the 1872 election. And some whites came and said, "What are you people doing here?" So we're registered to vote. We came to vote. And they shot and killed activist Cato and others. And there's a plaque monument with his bust on it, on a plaque in Philadelphia where it happened, on the streets of Philadelphia. That's activist Cato. So when Cato was killed, Herschel Vivian Cashin, my great-grandfather, decided, well, it's kind of rough up here. I'm from the South anyway. He left Cheney and then went to Alabama, Montgomery, and got elected 2 years later to the Alabama state legislature in 1874 as a black Reconstruction Republican. So I mentioned that because the Cashins ended up marrying the Brandons in Huntsville. And mom and dad, matter of fact, every generation of the Cashins since great-grandfather married Minnie Brewster have attended Fisk or been involved with Fisk all the way down to my generation. My first cousin, Herschel Cashin, his namesake, great-grandfather's namesake, whose father was Herschel Cashin, my father's brother, with a different name. He was Herschel Brandon Cashin, being the mother's surname, middle name.
Can I ask you a question? And Minnie, what did she major in college? Do you know?
I don't know. It was just a liberal arts school at the time. It was only, what, 10, 11 years old when she graduated. Fisk was in 1866. And more than likely, it was probably something to do with education. I really don't know.
Okay, that's cool.
I haven't gone to look it up. But her daughter, Ligon Emmett Cashin, attended Fisk, graduated, and taught Fisk music and fine arts, and was the curator or the choir director for the Fisk Jubilee Singers for 35 years. And that photo, there's a photo of me in front of Fisk University schoolhouse. You had it posted.
The photo. Okay, yeah.
That's the oldest building on Fisk campus. It's called the Little Theater, and it was a railroad stop building. Then it became, during the Civil War between the states, it became a makeshift hospital. At the end of the war, they turned it into a theater because it was a surgeon theater. Now they turned it into a play theater.
Oh, okay.
And there's a plaque that I showed you that I put her picture there that came out of the book that I'm going to show.
Okay.
And it's the oldest building on the campus, and it's dedicated to Ligon Emmett Cashin. And ever since then, as I said, one of the Cashins every generation has attended Fisk.
How many
My
generations do you think? How many
Well, I
generations of
know it's Minnie Brewster, who married Herschel Cashin, graduated in
Mhm.
1877. They had 6 children that
Oh,
survived,
okay.
7 total, of which all attended Fisk. To my
Oh,
knowledge,
okay.
all 6 of them that survived. The Herschel Brewster Cashin Jr., he didn't live to be past age 2. So
Oh,
the
okay.
others that are listed in this chart here, if you see Herschel Brewster, he passed before age 2. Then Minnie, that's Aunt Vivi,
Mhm.
who married Carol Napier Langston, or Uncle Toad, who had the Tuskegee Airmen, Carol Napier Langston Jr. Then Newland.
Can you maximize it a little bit? You know how to maximize it a little bit?
Uh,
Make it big a little bit.
big. Let's see.
You can
If I can
if you have
double click it and call it
if
up.
you have oh, okay. Or if you have a mouse pad, you can like open
Does
it up.
this work?
Oh,
Are you seeing it?
yeah, that's definitely bigger.
Okay. How about that?
Yeah, yeah, that's bigger.
Okay, this is the Cashin family tree. If you can see my,
Mm.
here's Herschel Brewster, who lived to age 2. Vivian, who married Carol Napier Langston Sr.
And
Newland,
this can be and this I'm sorry, this can be found and what's the name of the book this can be found in if people wanted to see it?
it's supposed to be the Agitators,
Okay,
but
the
my
agitators.
sister ended
Okay.
up naming it the Agitator's Daughter. This
Okay.
book here.
Okay. So if anyone wanted to see it, they can go to the agitator's daughter to see this in real life. Okay.
I will now,
Yeah,
this is
this is
the
nice.
side cover of the book. Can you see it?
Oh, okay. Yes, I see it. And that's your sister right there, right? Sheryyl Cashin.
Yeah, that's my sister and my dad.
Okay, at the top.
That's
Okay.
cut out of another photo that's inside the book that she published in black and white. I worked on this book with her for 5 years, but she went
Mm.
straight to the publisher without giving me the rough draft, and that's another story.
Yeah.
I didn't see the book until the eve of my father's funeral service
Oh.
in D.C. We worked on it for 5 years, finished it in 2007. She published it in 2008, and I didn't see it until April of 2011.
Hmm.
Another story, but it should have been titled "The Agitators: A Memoir of 4 Generations of One Extraordinary African American Family." She changed it to
Okay.
"The Agitator's Daughter," as if it's only her memoirs, as if she lived in the 1800s. But anyway, it's family
Yeah.
lore. We put it together, and she's getting all the publishing royalties for now. But anyway, that's subject to change. That's
Yeah,
another.
I'm so glad I got a chance to see it in person and and touch the book and look inside. So it's a very beautiful book. All the history that y'all,
Yeah,
compile is
so it's a
wonderful.
lot of work. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, I can
And
tell.
there's more. There's more. There should be another
Hmm.
one I'm going to work on that's going to be just as thick, if not more.
Okay.
I'll try not to duplicate, but I have to go through. I'm the one that insisted this family tree chart should be in there. So going
Hmm.
through the rest of them, here is Newland, who became a medical doctor, married Countess Harris. Ligon,
And you
and
can touch it with the mouse too. Can you like roll over it with the mouse? Can you do
yeah, I
that?
am. There's a small X there. I don't know if you can see it.
I can't really. Yeah, I can't see that part.
Okay. Well, I've got an X over it because
Oh,
I'm
that's okay.
I'm in a different mode. If I go to the other one,
Hmm.
okay, but you'll see Ligon, Emmett Cashin, Aunt Jack.
Hmm.
She's the one whose photo is at now I put at Fisk Little Theater. Her
Hmm.
mother was Ligon Estelle Sykes. I knew her well.
Hmm.
She also attended Fisk. Was an educator and settled in New York City, and never married. Aunt Lil, but she inherited Aunt Pat's house. Now, Pat or Patty, she's the twin to John Logan Cashin Sr., my grandfather. She
Oh, okay.
outlived everybody else.
Hmm.
Okay. She wasn't buried until early 1980s. But of all that generation, 7 of them, she survived till the 1980s.
Wow.
She married Leo Sykes, who was a funeral home operator in Decatur, Alabama. That's where great-grandfather Herschel actually settled, though he had an office in Huntsville, in the Huntsville Land Office. He was receiver of monies. He also ran what's called the Freedmen's Bank.
Oh, I heard about the Freedmen's Bank. Yeah.
Until it folded up under Frederick Douglass. They basically stole $4 billion from us and closed it up, meaning your government. And General Howard was involved, of Howard University's sake. Keep it straight.
Okay.
Okay. And then here's John Logan Cashin Sr., who was the twin to Patty, Aunt Pat, I called her, who married Grace Ramonia Brandon. The Brandons are a stalwart family from Huntsville, Alabama, but they were brick masons and builders back in the 1800s. And 2 of Grace's uncles served as aldermen on the Huntsville City Council in the 1800s into the early 1900s, while John Cashin, Sr., was recently born, and then his father Herschel had an office in Huntsville. So the Cashins and the Brandons were working together in one form or fashion, politically or otherwise, back into the late 1800s in Huntsville.
Oh, okay.
And then there's Uncle Jimmy, James Blaine, who married Hortense Fears. As I recall, he ended up moving up north to Detroit, but would come back and visit quite often. Now, Grace and John, my grandparents had John Logan Cashin Sr. and Herschel Brandon. John Logan Cashin Jr., my father, married Joan Marie Carpenter, the daughter of Dr. Marcus Carpenter Jr. and Dr. Marie Ruffin. She had a PhD from Columbia. My mom also got a master's in educational psychology under the name Joan Carpenter from Columbia University in New York as well. So both
from what university? What university?
Columbia, Ivy League. Oh. Same one that Obama well, he calls himself Obama. He was born Barry Davis and became Barry Soetoro. He was Indonesia, your Muslim brother. And then he became Barack Hussein Obama.
He doesn't say he's Muslim.
Well, you can go online and see him in his Muslim class as Barry Soetoro in Indonesia.
Okay.
You can see him with his class picture, and he's wearing Muslim gear because you had to be a Muslim to attend that private Muslim school. Of course, Indonesia is over 90% Muslim.
Today. Yeah, of course. And yeah.
The largest populated Muslim country on planet Earth. It has over 200 people.
Yeah.
I think it's twice as big as the next most Muslim country. I think the next one might be Pakistan before Saudi Arabia and the so-called Middle East.
Don't get me started.
Okay. So Dr. Marie Carpenter had Joan and Dr. Marcus Carpenter, originally of Rufferton, Thurgood, or Roughtown.
Right. There's so many ways to say Rufferton.
Right. Had Joan Marie Carpenter, and Joan Marie Carpenter and John Logan Cashin Jr. had 4 children. Geechee Marie, the Marie has survived as well from the Ruffin Marie family. So Geechee Marie, John Marcus, the Marcus, Carol Langston for the Langstons, and Sheryyl Denise Cashin. Though she married a sampler, she's keeping her surname as Cashin. I've named my daughter in Nigeria, middle name Marie, to keep the Marie in. So that's basically the family tree and how they're tied in year by year through different schools, HBCUs, and Ivy League. My sister also went to Vanderbilt in natural instead of Fisk. She was valedictorian in high school, valedictorian at Vanderbilt, then went to Oxford, England, got a BA English in English law, and then went to Harvard Law, JD degree. And she was in school with the guy you call Barack Hussein Obama II and Michelle Robinson, who you know is Michelle Obama. They were both schoolmates. Well, the three of them were schoolmates. However, my sister went to school with those two, but Michelle graduated spring of '88, and then Barack came fall of '88, or I call him Barry, but yeah, fall of '88. So she knew both of them before they knew each other. And she lives in Washington, D.C. She's at Georgetown Law Center and has our grandparents on the wall, as well as my mom's picture, obviously.
That's good. Yeah. So HBCUs run in our family because I attended HBCU. My mom, you know, I heard that my granddad, you know, Morgan State. Go Bears.
Yeah.
Go Bears. My husband.
They still have a good wrestling team, by the way. I was a wrestling state champ. They still have a wrestling team.
You right.
What?
Who was the state champ?
I was a state champion in high school.
Oh, okay.
And in Greco-Roman, I was 9th in the nation. I was in the top 10 in high school.
Wow. What school was that? What high school was that?
S.R. Butler High, Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, Huntsville.
That's closed down and turned into a church.
Okay. Did you go to HBCU too?
I went to Texas Southern after I was at the University of Alabama. I was on Bear Bryant's last wrestling team. He was the AD. Then I transferred to Texas Southern and left the University of Alabama going into my junior year.
Okay. Yeah, HBCUs, they run deep.
And all of the Texas Cashins, my dad's brother's children, they all went to school at either Texas Southern or the oldest sister. She went to the University of Texas, actually. But the 4 boys all went to Texas Southern. Tommy, John, and Christopher Augustus Cashin.
Okay. And what were they majoring in?
Went to law school there. Herschel, son of Herschel, Brandon Cashin. He's named for his mother's family, Georgia Pumphrey. His name is Herschel Pumphrey Cashin. He attended Texas Southern Law School and graduated practicing lawyer in Houston. So those are the other Cashins.
Okay, so I know we have a lot of like lawyers and dentists and educators, and were there any other majors?
Medical doctors.
Doctors, okay.
Dr. Marcus Carpenter Jr. was a medical doctor, MD Howard, and his in-laws, being my granduncle, was a medical doctor. That's Dr. Newland Cashin, who's buried in Decatur right next to his dad, Herschel Vivian Cashin. And of course, dad, it was a dentist, Meharry, and his dad was a dentist, Meharry. Okay. His brother, I think, graduated from an Ohio medical school, as I recall.
Oh, okay. Your father's brother or your grandfather's?
My granduncle.
Oh, okay.
Granduncle. He got his medical degree in Midwest up north.
Wow. They were doing it back then, because I know it was definitely harder to get a medical degree back then. All the different accomplishments.
Especially from a non-white school. Yeah. To get any degree. To even get across campus, if you're talking about University of Alabama, where I went.
Wow.
They used to love to hate us then, but now they can't do without us. Of course, NIL has helped some of the non-slave labor, but back in the day, it's scholarship. I only had a partial at Alabama, but well, that's another story. Why Bear got rid of the wrestling team. We weren't making no money for him. It was an expenditure, but Title IX came in and they had to have equal amount of women's sports according to law. So wrestling was let go and they brought in volleyball to add to the Title IX, track, gymnastics, softball, and the like. Whereas, you know, the males played golf and football and track and baseball and basketball along with football. And we weren't gymnastics. Not
And what did
Alabama, but anyway.
Yeah, so what did you major in?
At the University of Alabama, Broadcast and Film Communications, BFC. At Texas Southern, Geological Petroleum Engineering Tech. And I did a master's thesis, and what I wanted was a constitutional history degree. I would have been the 6th Black in the country to have a master's in constitutional history, but Texas Southern was not accredited to do that. So my master's was approved. My thesis was, anyway, we had a PhD head of the department who graduated from University of Southern Cal. But he could only give me an MA history, not even an MS history. And all you can really do with that is write a book or teach. And I wasn't interested in it. But my undergraduate work at Texas Southern was geological engineering technology and petroleum engineering technology, which is like 4 or 5 billion years of history of Earth and the cosmos.
Yeah.
Versus this stuff is kind of shallow. This is just a couple hundred years here. So.
Wow. So how did you find out all this history of everything? How did you find this out? Did someone tell you? Did you do research? I mean, how do you know all this stuff?
Well, I mean,
all these facts.
As I said, there's more.
Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and let you finish the rest, and we'll talk later.
Let me, like, if you talk about the political history alone, the fact that Dad's grandfather, my great-grandfather, he was a 3rd lawmaker, Black lawmaker, or we were colored then or something, I forget. He was the 3rd Black lawmaker in the state of Alabama. And he ended up being appointed by President William McKinley to be the receiver of monies in the Huntsville Land Office, and also the Freedmen Banks funds were basically in the same office when you get down to it. But the state of Alabama, to show you how racist they were, aside from the treaties being signed with the Cherokees and the Chickasaws and the Creeks, you know, General Jackson, who became president. I call him General Jackass Jackson because he founded the Democratic Party, which symbol is a jackass, not a donkey, a jackass. So General Jackass Jackson, he came down on orders basically to wipe out the Creek Indians, break the Creek Confederacy so that Alabama could become a state after the War of 1812. He goes down in Alabama and whips up on the Creeks, who didn't attack anybody. They were just living on their land. He got all the way down to Tuskegee, and there were too many of them there. He turned around after seeing that and went back and settled, or took his butt to Huntsville, Alabama, where I'm from. And almost all the land patents that white folks get for all them plantations above Tuskegee through Birmingham up to Huntsville depend on General Jackson's capitulation of the tribes. Now, if you go back a little further, the first treaty signed with the Cherokees, which I am Cherokee and Chickasaw via great-grandfather Claude Brandon, my grandmother's father, who is pure indigenous Black Indian, even though Columbus was lost and didn't know where he was, and he called us Indio or Indian. Indigo is really what it is. Indigo is like black ink, indigo. But he didn't know where he was and started enslaving half of his crew By the time he got to what's called San Salvador, which was actually in Turks and Caicos Islands where I used to live, Providenciales. After seeing land by Rodrigo de Triana, who was a Black Moor, who was the main navigator on his ship, De La Concepcion. And he, through a slight little telescope, saw land being up on the bridge.
I think I heard about him. Yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Triana, the other irony is a small Black town settlement in Madison County, where Huntsville, Alabama is. But when Redstone Arsenal came, all the water is poisoned, and if you eat the fish, you get mercury and stuff, and you'll probably die of cancer or something. That's another, because it's downstream from Redstone Arsenal, which is also where NASA, missile ballistics, and a lot of other stuff, a lot of nerve gas and other nuclear waste was put in the water from there. But anyway, I was talking about the Brandons, who were the best brick masons in town and the richest people who were white. One guy named Risen, who a school in the street was named after. The Risen House was the best built house built by the Brandons, the Brandon brothers, and it was Daniel Henderson and Grandpa Claude Brandon, who all either made the bricks or actually did the building execution of the contracts to build probably the best house in town. When Daniel decided to build his own house on Pulaski Pike, is what it's called, he started building a fence that was better than that white Jewish guy's fence. And he said, if you build a house to this standard, you will never get another job in this town. Because he wanted to have the best house in town. Of course, the builder would build a better house than what he builds for someone else because it's personal, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So once he just built the fence, he received that threat. Okay. So that's Huntsville politics, but that's how good of break masons they were. And even for him, meaning Mr. Risen, to have a better fence, which he didn't build because he wanted to show off the house, it was so well built, he would have had to come back to Mr. Brandon and his brothers to build a fence. But he wanted to show off rather than cover the front. So anyway, local politics.
And so what's going on in the picture right there? I think you might have froze a little bit, cousin.
Constitutional Convention.
Okay, there you go. Can you say it again? You froze a little bit. What's going on in the picture?
Okay, this picture. Oh, okay. This is the family picture here. And if you notice, mom and dad are separated. Book, it's our book, but she claimed it. She took just dad and her out and left me, my mom, and my brother out of that picture. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I noticed that on the cover. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are as a whole family.
A beautiful family.
But she's agitator's daughter, as if it's the only agitator in the family, when we have great-grandfather raising hell in the Reconstruction period, right? 1874. And when all these Negroes, coloreds, whatever we would call, and we weren't slaves, by the way. We were free people of color. Whatever they decided at the time. So many of us in Reconstruction were becoming in as elected officials all over the South, especially South Carolina. They had the majority of the state assembly at that time. So they had to pass all these racist laws, and they basically said in 1834, no free Black people are allowed to exist in Alabama. 1834. You had to leave or be somebody's slave.
Wow.
Or pass. You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So I was going to the 1890 treaty, the first treaty that was signed, but the Cherokee Nation took like over 2/3 of Tennessee. The Washington Treaty of 1890. Then they did another one in 1896, taking a little bit more. Then a matter of fact, the Tennessee River. Do you know the original name?
Mm-mm.
Cherokee River.
Wow.
The original name of the whole Tennessee, the whole state was called Cherokee. The whole
Yeah, I
state.
didn't know that.
Yeah, but the Tennessee River, named after Tanasi, 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 the little tributary
Mm,
just below Knoxville, where
mm,
it's technically they claim it starts off at the foot of the Appalachians or out of the waters of running off the Appalachia into eastern Tennessee. Tanasi
mm,
is where Tennessee, Tennessee, comes from.
okay.
Now, when you go around two turns in the river of Tanasi, the next town is called Tuskegee, Tennessee.
Okay.
We're the same people, but they've divided us into Creeks, Muskogees, Chickasaws, Choctaws, and Seminole. But we're all related. Even our lingui, our syllabus, our vernacular or our dialect is Aztec.
Mm,
It's related to the Aztec language of Mexico. Matter of fact,
mm,
Mexico, a real Mexico or Mexican is black. The word means that, Mexico. You're indigenous black tribe. That's what Mexico means, the word itself.
mm,
But we spoke a diaspora, I want to say Kemetic, but okay, Mexican or Aztec language. Our Cherokee language, which is in Fort Payne, Alabama, in a cave where Sequoia, he put it on the wall in there. And the Eastern Band of Cherokees from North Carolina, near where we are from, the Carpenters, because we are Cherokee too. I hope you know that.
Yeah, I have Cherokee. I didn't know on this side, but on my grandmother's side, I know it was
Oh, the
Cherokee. I
Carpenters
didn't
are
know.
Cherokee. Look, we are Cherokee via the Carpenters. All that
Okay.
area, all the way over into the border of Tennessee, it's all Cherokee. Cherokee County is there.
Okay.
And they have a Harrods there. Not Harrods. Is that what's the name of it? Harrods Casino. In the middle
Okay.
of nowhere. I went there. After I left our family reunion 2 years ago, I went there.
Oh, okay.
I didn't gamble, but I went. I had to. Matter of fact, this flag is on my wall. I got from a little store there. Well, I need to show you this. Let's see if I can just do this real quick.
Okay.
You see
I
that
see a
flag?
picture. Oh yeah, I see the flag.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like a.
bought that the week after.
Can you see the top part? Can you put up the top so I can see what the top says? I see the bottom part, 1839. Okay, so what does the top say? Seal of
Field of the
the.
Cherokee Nation, September 6,
Oh,
1839. And
okay, I
that's
see it.
our own language right there.
Oh, okay, those are the letters. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
About 3 days
Wow.
after the family reunion was over, I bought this flag on the way back to Alabama.
Mm.
I was dedicated.
That's the first time I've seen that flag.
It's rare. Even if
Mm.
you go to the Oklahoma Cherokee Nation website,
Mm.
you will see that symbol, but not with the yellow background.
Mm. Okay.
That's the official Cherokee Nation seal.
Mm.
So I'm Cherokee and Chickasaw via, like I said, great grandpa Claude Brandon, who founded Brandontown, my father's mother's last name. And in Brandontown, they put a highway right through it, typical BS, and took about a third of the land to put a 5-lane state highway through Brandontown.
Is it still called Brandontown now, or did they change the name?
I live in Brandontown subdivision,
Oh,
1850
okay.
Lydia Brandon Drive, but it's Lydia Drive.
Okay.
Lydia was the youngest great-grandchild of the founder, Claude S. Brandon Jr. When he was asked, what do you want to name the street? So he named it after his youngest great-grandchild, and she's still alive. She's about 70 years old, married to a Abyssinian. Paleface calls them Ethiopians. Tadasi is her last name now.
Tadasi, okay.
Okay, so that highway, the east side has Brandontown Cemetery. That's in Cherokee Nation. The west side of the highway is Chickasaw Kingdom. Brandontown was founded right on the border of the two nations.
Two nations, okay.
Chickasaw Kingdom, and he wore a turban on his head. He's a Moor.
And this is located where again? And what
Huntsville, Alabama. Paleface comes
Huntsville.
from Huntsville, Alabama. And John Hunt, a sheriff from northern Tennessee at the Kentucky border, came and squatted in Big Spring downtown, where there was a half-finished cabin. And then the Pope brothers came from Georgia with Georgia claims, because Georgia, King George, who had a black wife, Charlotte, North Carolina fame, they claimed everything from Savannah all the way over to the Mississippi, even though they never went there. So the Mississippi Territory was cut out of the Georgia Territory, which became the state of Georgia, or already was the state of Georgia. And then Mississippi Territory, the state of Mississippi was made out of that in 1817, and the Alabama Territory was created. And then 2 years later, the state of Alabama came. Now you have Georgia, then over to Mississippi, and then Alabama, they had to come back. And you wonder why, right?
Yeah.
It should be Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. It wasn't until after the Louisiana Purchase fraud of 1803 was done that they could come in and sign treaties to finally steal the rest of the land in Alabama. In 1805, treaty with the Cherokees, in 1806 with the Chickasaws, to take northern Alabama all the way down to just above Tuskegee, the upper 2/3 of Alabama. And they had to capitulate it at gunpoint in areas just smaller than a county, one by one, and get some local chief or recognized tribesman to submit and write an X on a treaty. Treaties of 1805 and 1806. 5 years later, everybody who signed both of those treaties were dead. By 1811, 17 signed one and 21 or 22 signed the other. All of them were dead 5 years after they put an X on that thing. And they used Chief Doublehead and Chief Black Fox, of all names. Black Fox is known to be in, what do they call it? He came and battled the tribes just below Tennessee, the town of Tennessee, which Tennessee River and Tennessee is named. He was a double agent. That's why they call him Doublehead. And Black Fox. They dethroned or what do they call it? The lower chiefs or warriors said, we didn't give you permission to go sign and give this land away. With one treaty, they signed the equivalent of Connecticut, Delaware, and Rhode Island in one treaty, which is like a third of Tennessee and northern Alabama in that treaty. They killed all that they could get. And then the one that was dethroned or taken off of his chieftaincy, he had to sneak over to the Creeks and get a title to keep the treaty enforceable. But he still dies within 5 years, even though he got that title, because to legitimize the treaty, you had to have a paramount chief sign it. And one of them had signed the Washington Treaty. And he was getting $100 a year for life, silver dollars. The other subordinates, that signed amongst either 17 or 20 odd number, they were getting $2,000 spread over 5 years for the rest of them, like peanuts. Okay, here, trickle down and give it to your people to let the pale faces come in and make use of the land. Not own it, make use of it. We wouldn't kill them, we wouldn't scalp them, but yeah, you could come through and we'd leave you alone. It's more like a peace treaty, but it didn't give up any land. Same thing with the territory of Louisiana, which they claimed all the way up to Canada, right? As if Lewis Clark and that squaw girl surveyed all that land. Are you sure? In 2.5 years? They couldn't even do that today, could they?
I doubt it.
Yeah, that Midwest Pocahontas. I forget her name. But see, that was just for the nobility title claim of France and Spain. They used De Soto, Hernando de Soto.
All right, De Soto.
Who my paramount chief king, Tuscaloosa, defeated in 1840 at Mavala, which is actually Moundville. And they claim they can't find the battleground where it happened, where Hernando de Soto, who was the Spanish governor of Cuba, came in above the Tampa Bay, because our tribesmen, the Miccosukes and the others down on the peninsula, they could not defeat them. They had to come way up past Tampa Bay, which is a paradise. Have you ever been to Tampa Bay and Clear Lake, Clearwater? Those beaches?
I haven't.
There earlier this year, actually. He was ordered by the Spanish crown to build another fort in a little town. Instead of doing that, he goes in all the way up into South Carolina near the border of North Carolina and comes back to the eastern edge of Tennessee, then comes back into Georgia, then comes into Alabama and ends up going above what Tuskegee, too black for him too, and then over to Moundville, where we have about 40 mounds till today. But there's been they cannot find any skeletons because they were all excavated about 175 years ago. You wonder why? Because simple DNA. These are pale faces and these are indigenous. How many people did Hernando de Soto come with? And if you find all their bones there, because none of them made it back to Cuba.
Oh,
we wiped them out. Chief Tuscaloosa wiped them out. They tried to say they killed Chief Tuscaloosa. 5 guys get out to the Mississippi River 2 years later. And they put a flag down for Spain on the eastern shore, claiming everything west of the Mississippi for Spain. They didn't even cross it. That became a secret claim that a second cousin of the crown of Spain owed a second cousin of the crown of France, who had just been thrown out in the French Revolution in 1791. They beheaded Marie Antoinette, and she was Queen of Great Britain, France, and Spain. She had 3 titles. Okay. She didn't have Portugal, but she had part of Spain at the time. Anyway, she was, Queen of France. They wanted to, wherever their borderlines are, and that's the Europeans fighting each other up there. But see, there's black nobility there. We started those lines too. That information is just coming up. King James I was black. Queen Elizabeth I was black. Had black blood anyway. Okay. So
Yeah, good
that
stuff.
secret claim became the Louisiana Purchase, and Thomas Jefferson, who didn't like us either. You remember what he said about our shoemaker and Benjamin Banneker? He had to give it. He respected Benjamin Banneker. He's the one that did the streets in D.C. after LaFont died.
Yeah. He did the clock too. The clock, the watch,
yeah,
the
Big
streets,
Ben.
the architecture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Big Ben in London is named after him. He built several chime clocks.
Yeah, he did a lot of stuff. Astronomer.
Astronomy, yeah. From memory, he
mathematician. Mathematician, everything.
Yeah, almanac.
Yeah,
not the first black almanac, the first American almanac.
Yeah, I remember hearing. Read about
the first black, the first almanac.
Almanac, the first almanac.
Franklin
Yeah, I
had
remember that.
But he didn't put. And later, Franklin came out with one before he died, after the Constitutional Convention. But it was Benjamin Banneker who did the first one, and my understanding, it's still published every year.
Yeah, he did the almanac. Yeah.
So that's my tribe, Chief Tuscaloosa.
And let me ask you a question. What's going on in the picture above your family?
Okay, that's Dr. Marie Carpenter. Matter of fact, I want you to see this. Can you read that?
Tuscaloosa. Yeah, I see it.
That's the original spelling of his name, Mavala. October 18th, 1840.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, I keep it on my wall. That's my chief. He kicked butt.
You got it.
Okay, now let's get to that photo. Let me put my chief back on the wall. All right. This is my mother's mother with this sign right here. Can you see the arrow?
Yeah, I can see the arrow.
Okay. This is they're protesting in front of the New York Stock Exchange, May 19th, 1862, because they wouldn't integrate or allow us into downtown theaters or whatever in Huntsville.
Oh, okay.
And they were beginning to do gentrification on Church Street and move blacks out of downtown Huntsville because we were just too many for them to handle. You see a guy right behind her that looks kind of like John Lewis.
And then what's up? You have more pictures, right? Under here or above?
Yeah. Okay, this is Herschel Vivian Cashin, my great-grandfather, stroking in the creek by himself with his grand hat and his pipe, which he always carried. That's the best picture we have of him in his prime.
That's a nice picture. And you said he was like the author of the Buffalo
Soldiers book, Under Fire with the 10th U.S. Cavalry, which you have the subtitle to. Anyway, I can pull. Oh yeah, here it is, right here. This book.
So what's the name of the book again that he authored?
Under Fire with the 10th U.S. Cavalry.
Okay.
Being a brief, comprehensive review of the Negroes' participation in the wars of the United States. So this is basically from Crispus Attucks until 1899, 1900, after the Spanish-American War, after the U.S. military blew up their own ship, the USS Maine in the Havana harbor of Cuba, and took it from Cuba. You know, it was 80% black, right?
I can imagine.
then and today.
And then the pictures above that, above, right here. Who are they?
Okay, well, let me go back up here. This is Dr. Marcus Carpenter and his wife, Marie Ruffin Carpenter, PhD.
Okay.
1955. My parents get married in 1957. This is Dad with Uncle Jimmy up in Chicago who I'll show you in another picture. This is my dad and Uncle Herschel.
Where? Which one? At the top?
Upper
The
left,
top?
upper left, upper
Upper
left.
left. Okay.
Okay, in front of the house that Claude Brandon built, my great-grandfather. This late father. This is Grace Maronia Brandon, and this is Dr. John Logan Cashin Sr., DDS Meharry. Those are my grandparents of my dad, parents of my dad. This is my father and uncle a few years later, about three or 4 years later, in front of the same house, same position, but now bushes have grown. So that's about 3 or 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Uncle Jimmy, who's in this picture with Dad next to the wedding picture. That's the same man. This man is right here.
Okay.
This is Uncle Newland, who was the medical doctor who practiced, and he was obstetrician, gynecologist, and everything else in Decatur, Alabama. He was the shortest of siblings, of the male siblings, I should say. This is Aunt Jack, who taught Fisk for 35 years in her youth prime, after she graduated from Fisk, but while she's professing in the music and fine arts department at Fisk. This might even be in a windowsill at the little theater where this picture was taken.
Oh, okay.
I've not verified it, but they have ancient curtains or antique curtains that look pretty much like this inside the theater today. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I would have to go see if this little indication is, on the corner here. I would have to go in and look at it firsthand because they've tried to keep that restored. But I think it's her looking out of the little theater window.
Okay.
She never married. When she graduated from Fisk, she gave her life to Fisk. She taught for 35 years, retired, and died basically there, but she's buried right next to great-grandfather Herschel in Decatur.
Okay. Decatur, Georgia.
And I had a solar light on it, but hers is flat, and great-grandpa's is flat next to his wife. Matter of fact, him and his wife both died in 1924.
Okay.
Aunt Lil died in 1945, so she was still kind of young. She wasn't 60 when she died. I guess that's what professing at a major university will do to you.
Yeah, definitely. It's high stress, especially back then.
Yeah.
It's already high stress now, at universities for people. And back then, imagine that.
I feel it when I go to them, like Alabama A&M. It's a mess. It's like I said, this is a university. I went to the Black Archives. I donated Herschel's book, and then the book is missing.
Oh.
So they didn't take too kind to me for discovering that a book I donated back in 2011, 2012, after Dad died, is missing. And the lady who was the head of it had spoken earlier that day at the monument at Calvary Hill School, which is named after the 10th Calvary of the book fame that Herschel wrote. And there's a plaque on the side of it that says Dr. John Logan Cashin was the brainchild of this monument and has the details on it. Maybe I should try to find a picture of that by the next interview. And I went over to the lady and she said, yeah, okay, we're going to reopen the Buffalo Soldiers thing. I said, well, if you're not going to use the book, I was going to take it back. But if you're going to reopen, yeah, fine. But I would like to see the book. She said, okay, give me about 30, 40 minutes. You can meet me up there. So when I got up there, she didn't meet with me. She sent a subordinate. And they were complaining about me because I brought in some more books that they didn't have.
Wow. Yeah, you have all the books.
Yeah, this is great-grandfather's paperback version.
Wow. What's the name of that one?
Same thing, Under Fire with the 10th U.S. Cavalry.
Oh, that's the first. Okay, that's the paperback. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, you have some amazing books. Oh, oh my goodness.
And I took this one up there.
Oh, Scottsboro Unmasked. Okay. Oh yeah, about the brother. Yeah,
it's about the Scottsboro boys, because the trial was held in Decatur, Alabama. And
who wrote that book right there?
Peggy Allen Towns. She grew up in Decatur.
Okay.
She was a little girl when the trials were on. She remembers it.
Mm.
And then here's Uncle Newland's name as a witness, potential witness list, or no,
Oh,
juror for the trial.
what? He was a juror? Okay.
No, he was on the list. They didn't call him. They
Oh,
didn't
they
want.
didn't call
They
him.
didn't want
Okay.
real smart black people, colored people, Negroes to be on that jury.
That's good you got that though. That's good. That's in her book. She put that in her book.
Yeah. Now
Wow.
this is Peggy Allen Downs. Now here's the picture of Uncle Jimmy and Uncle
Right.
Newland that my
Right. I know
sister
you
gave
showed
to
me that
that
picture.
author. Yeah, and that's the same picture right here.
Yeah, you showed me that picture.
Yeah, yeah. See, it's the same picture.
So what, how they connected to what happened? Were they the lawyers then or somehow they connected?
No, they tried to say they couldn't find blacks to be on the jury to be jurors of your peers with the 9 Scottsboro boys. One, two,
Okay.
three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's one more. He wasn't in the picture for the
Okay.
picture.
And so your uncles were in the book because what?
They said originally they couldn't find colored people who could serve to be competent jurors.
Okay. Okay.
So when Uncle Newland comes forward and he's a MD, another uncle
Mm,
comes forward, he's a lawyer, and then
right.
another one comes forward and she's a school teacher, and another one
Mm,
comes forward and they have a master's degree. This is just one family.
right. Right. That's our family.
I know
Mm-hmm.
this guy's son, George Reynolds. I know his son.
Okay.
He owns 3 funeral homes up in New Jersey. Matter of fact,
Oh, Reynolds. Okay.
his funeral home, yeah, his funeral home handled Cicely Tyson's funeral.
Oh, okay.
But George Reynolds was a undertaker, right? He owned a funeral home. And
Mm,
also Pat Sykes' husband's family, the Sykes, that was the other major black-owned funeral home in Decatur.
mm.
And here's Dr. Sykes right here.
Oh, okay.
That's Aunt
Yeah.
Pat's husband
Mm.
during the
I know
trial.
they were upset. I know they were upset when they saw these qualified, extra qualified, educated people.
Yeah, we're undertakers. Here's Dr. Willis Wood. He's the other black dentist in town.
Oh, okay. Black dentists.
Oh, we got
Okay.
black doctors and dentists and lawyers and legislators, and you say you don't have colored people that can serve on the jury?
Mm.
So as you know, it was a hung jury, and they won one trial, and then they lost subsequent trials, and then they were all exonerated. Like there were only 2 of them alive when they were exonerated by Clinton, I think. Was it
Mm.
Clinton?
I don't remember. Yeah.
All
Who
of them were
exonerated?
exonerated. All of them, because the 2 white girls, they were basically prostitutes.
Mm.
They couldn't hold it in Huntsville where they were from because all the black boys and white boys had been in bed with them.
They
So
knew him.
they
They
knew
knew
what
him.
they were. They were going to Chattanooga because they were used baggage in Huntsville.
Mm.
So they went to Chattanooga and they jumped on the train to come back, and these black boys are already there. They got as far as Scottsboro and said, "What are you stallaways doing here with these
Mm.
white women? These white girls, they were teenagers, I think, at the time."
Mm.
He
Yeah, I
said,
think
"Oh,
they were
they raped us.
teenagers.
Let us go. They raped us." Okay, how'd you get on the damn train in the first place? They didn't get into that. What
Yeah.
was you doing on the train? Aren't y'all, you girls from Huntsville?
Mm.
So they told a big white lie on all 9 of them.
Mm.
Anyway, that's what the trial was held in Decatur, and that's how the story goes. That yeah, the Cashins were settled in Decatur. Okay,
Okay.
other photos below here is Dr. John Logan Cashin Sr.'s office, which is the upstairs garage next door to this house right here where Uncle Herschel and my dad grew up in. That house, it's right next door. It was the garage, and it was turned into a dental office.
Mm.
The dental lab was downstairs, and the practicing office was upstairs, and that's where my dad last practiced too. Except it didn't look like this. This is probably early 1930s.
Wow.
He was a practicing dentist and on the voting rolls as Dr. Cashin in 1920.
That's big.
Which is the first election after the Women's Suffrage Act. And there were about
Mhm.
8 or 10 stalwart Black women that got registered even before the white women in Huntsville.
Wow.
Whose husbands had been on the city council. So you telling me I can't vote? My husband's on the city council 20 years
Yeah.
ago.
That's a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like I said, this information that you have, man. This is like so amazing.
Yeah.
All this information that you have. That's why I say I had to, have to interview you because this is it's a lot of historical things, especially as it relates to our family and to the world, period. Yeah, this is really amazing. So
Okay.
what advice, let me ask you something. So what advice would you give to a youth about trying to discover who they are or try to have pride in themselves? What would you like, what would you instruct them to do or, what would you suggest to them if they need some motivation? Because,
Before I
it's a
get to
lack of
that,
history. Hmm.
I'll get to that. I want to finish
Okay.
these other two photos, these set of
Oh,
photos on the
you have
next
some more?
page.
Okay. Let me write it down because I'm going to forget. Let me write it down. Okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
This picture here is great grandfather Herschel V. Cashin, and he's
All right.
holding Carol Napier Langston Jr. And there's the mother, Vivian Cashin, who married Carol Napier Langston Sr., the lawyer.
Okay.
So that's when he's a child. The first time he gets to see him, they bring him down from Nashville, and he gets to hold his grandson.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I'm so glad we have this picture before he dies. So
Hmm.
over here is Vivian in her later prime. She's gray here. She's still got her black hair here. See? So that's
Mm.
the baby who's now a Tuskegee Airman. When he comes back
Mm.
to Tuskegee to visit them in Nashville, and they take a picture together for the first time as soon as he got his uniform and got his stripes and got his lieutenant bars or whatever.
And what's his name?
Carol Napier Langston Jr.
Mm.
And this is his father, Carol Napier Langston Sr. Both of them are Esquire. Both of them were practicing lawyers when this picture was taken. However, he gone to Tuskegee, and that's Vivian Cashin Langston, my grandfather's sister, in between them.
Okay.
And below is Carol Napier Langston Jr. and his wife, Margaret. He was sent off to the war. They didn't have children.
Okay.
9 months after he signed up and got out of flight class, he's dead on the day after D-Day, June 7th, 1944.
Um,
D-Day in Normandy, the beaches of Normandy, was the day before on June 6th. So on June 7th, he's ferrying one of the planes back to Roma Telly, and off the beaches of Italy, he gets into engine trouble. He goes to pull the parachute to eject, and he gets stuck on the side of the plane and goes down the plane into the water. His other squadron guys that were flying with him, they were flying used P-40s, I think, not the P-51s at that time. And he waved to them. He was found on the beach a day or two later with several bullet holes in him. Friendly fire.
Yeah, friendly fire. All right.
Friendly fire. He had a law degree and he was Tuskegee Airman. And those guys had made their first big mark being the cover. Have you seen Red Tails or Tuskegee
Yeah,
Airmen?
yeah.
Red Tails. That's the first time they were called in. And it was Eisenhower, our black president, who called these guys in along with the black tankers who were assigned to Patton. But Eisenhower was over the whole Allied command. And he's 1/4 colored. Other was Ida B. Stover, and he is Ike Eisenhower. Ike and Ida are Igbo names from Nigeria. So I ended with those photos. There's more, but I want to get past that. Now, what do I recommend for somebody young concerning their own family tree and ascendants?
Yeah, their family tree, or just having a sense of worth, you know, as a Black child or Black teen, you know, just knowing, having a sense of worth, just knowing, you know, there's a lot of history to the ancestry.
Yeah, well, once you know who you are and what you are, you just get to walk day by day, and you can't be spat on so much. You know, I would still have to say, if you can trace yourself back to early 1800s, being here, you've got some Native American Black in you. You're a Black tribe. Even if some of your family members were slaves, because they enslaved Black tribespeople. They didn't bring, I would say over 80% of the slaves in the United States are indigenous Blacks. Because not a whole lot of them ended up coming up here. And a lot of us were captured here and taken to the Caribbean, including Trinidad and Jamaica, Turks and Caicos, Virgin Islands. They just grabbed Blacks from what's called the United States because it was banned, and took them to the Caribbean eventually, or even before. Even in North Carolina or South Carolina, there's a law that they passed to make everybody Black, colored, in the law, a slave, even if they were free. And as I mentioned, in 1834, 2 years after Jackass Jackson, president, gets the Indian Removal Act passed in retaliation to Cherokee Nation versus Georgia, Supreme Court case, which we won. And he said, well, let's see if they can enforce it. Let's see if Chief Justice can enforce his decision. So politically, like I said, he had gotten elected under the Democratic Party he founded in 1828 to be elected president. He used his party majority to get the Indian Removal Act passed. And here comes the Trail of Tears. And here comes the Alabama law 2 years after the Supreme Court case, Cherokee Nation versus Georgia, and the Indian Removal Act. And they said, well, whoever you are, Black, colored, ex-slave, if you're a Negro in this state, you either somebody's slave or you got to leave. No free Black people are allowed to inhabit the state of Alabama. You got 30 days to get out. If we catch you between 30 and 60 days, we'll give you another warning, because they still wanted us out. They didn't want us in the jails. But the main thing is remove us so they can go steal the land from us. So now we're saying, no, we're not indigenous. Yeah, we were slaves. And they go make a deal with some white slave owner and say, look, I'll be your slave. I'll work for free. I don't want to leave. Yeah, we got some land over here, but you claim us, change us name to Ford or Smith or Washington or Jones or whatever. So they had to play that game unless they passed. Of course, if they passed, they would be light-skinned Indian and then be the offspring of a slave master or somebody that the fellas got along with, at least.
Yeah.
And a lot of the frontier whites, without us, they couldn't have survived anyway. All the way back to Plymouth Rock.
Yeah, we had a lot of skills. We did bring a lot of skills over.
Over. We were
So
already here, my dear.
yeah, some of us here. Yeah.
Tuskegee's black tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Tuscaloosa's black. All these mounds of the Mississippian culture, they go all the way up into Iowa. You know East St. Louis, Chicopee? That big pyramid mound across
In
the
there.
river from St. Louis?
Okay.
Okay, you need to go there. It's
Yeah, I
a
do. I need to travel.
there's hundreds
Travel.
there's hundreds of pyramids,
Mm.
they flat top for all these ceremonies.
Wow.
From Florida, Mississippi, Ohio, Iowa, Illinois, Kansas, Arkansas, Texas, and of course Oklahoma.
Mm.
You know the eastern half of Oklahoma is not in the state of Oklahoma anymore since 2020 officially,
Mm.
due to the 1835 and 1885 treaties with the Native Americans. The Indian Removal Act said, okay, y'all can go over here and you can claim that. We'll leave you alone. That's y'all's land. It already was anyway. But they claim they sold in Louisiana Purchase. Okay, but it's their prerogative to put us there, to get us off of the lands in Georgia, South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, because there's too much gold in them hills and in them lands, in the creeks.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely a historian.
Yeah.
Woo! I got a lesson. I learned a lot today. Ooh.
Yeah. So once these youth know who they are and what they really are, it doesn't
Yeah.
start with slavery.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely. And then I wanted to ask you though, real quick, how did you gather, or how did you get the information, that most information, did your father pass it? Was it by, word of mouth, or did they have like certain documents in the family? How did you, really get the information? I know you did some research afterwards, but was your family always verbally, orally given the information out? How did it get to you?
Luckily, I'm the one at the weddings and the funerals or graduations. If I was there from age 7 or 8, I was curious as to who is this, who uncle, who cousin, who are these people, and I would write it down and take notes.
Oh, okay. I gotta open
I'm
that
the
door.
one that would always be sitting there, okay, especially the funeral. It's over.
I just want to let you know that I appreciate you um allowing me to interview you and give us this time, because this is not only useful to me and our family, but this is useful to American history. And this is information that I believe a lot of people don't know. And the people that do know it, they probably don't share it. So, you were very generous in sharing this information, and, I would say compassionate and everything else. So I really do appreciate you allowing me to interview you.
Well, my dear, unfortunately, as I've gone and done research, they're trying to hide this stuff.
Yeah, I know.
As I said, the book I donated to Alabama A&M's Black Archives. It's actually the Black State Archives, but it's curated by Alabama A&M's campus. My book that I donated is missing. What does that tell you? And that's the best book on the Buffalo Soldiers, the most
You
comprehensive.
have another copy though. You have your other copy,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you can buy them online. I only paid like $8-10 for this one. But the one that I donated was an official printing that my grandmother, Grace Brandon, authorized for printing. And it's the best reprint in the history of that book, because the photos are laid out where you can take it to the photocopy machine on purpose and get that information out. Another one, the one they do have at A&M's Black Archives is came out in 1976. We didn't authorize it. It's a smaller version, closer to the original size of 1902, the first publishing. It was copyrighted in 1899. by great-grandpa Herschel.
Okay.
And of course, he was in the federal land office where you also turn in patents and everything. And then they go to Washington, unless you want to go all the way to Washington or another federal book depository or whatever, which would have been Montgomery, where we weren't in charge. Former capital of the Confederacy. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
when the 1901 Constitution comes along, to disenfranchise all these black Republican officials, because great-grandpa was running the office with another mulatto guy. They were the top two officers. So if something happened to one, the other one would come in. And sometimes, well, if Herschel or whatever was too busy, the other guy would run the office. So these two niggers, these two light-skinned niggers who run the office, they merged the office, excuse me, with the Montgomery land office, which didn't have as much land under it, and closed the Huntsville office. That's how they got rid of the two coloreds running the Huntsville office. And he kept on issuing out this 40 acres and a mule, if he could, to soldiers who were filing claims. And through his office, they were getting their merits and their badges and their medals. All the Buffalo soldiers who ended up settling in Huntsville, which is quite a few of them, because that's where they were, what's the role? Paroled out? Is that what they call it? When they were done? Most of them, they were done. And they didn't know what to do with us after that war, because they gained so much. They gained the Philippines. They gained access to Haiti. They gained access to Guantanamo. They gained access to, well, Cuba, for that matter. They occupied the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and Cuba and Haiti for like 17 years. And now Puerto Rico is a federal state of the United States, of course. Whoever's born there gets a U.S. passport, but they can't vote in presidential electors in the elections. And their non-voting resident commissioner in the U.S. House of Representatives, right? Is a non-voting delegate till today.
Yeah.
Just like DC, Eleanor Holmes Norton, she can't vote on the floor either. DC, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico that I mentioned, and American Samoa.
That's crazy.
All colored people. They have non-voting delegates to the U.S. House of Reps and can't vote. Could they have voted? They could have voted for the House Speaker. Johnson would not be the House Speaker now if those five could vote, because he only was in by what, 2.5 votes or 3 votes? Because some people were dead or special that in their health.
Wow. So like I said, thank you again. I gotta wrap it up because they calling me. But is there any last minute things that you would like to say at the end of this interview? Is any type of advice you would like to give? Anything or anything?
Everybody needs to find out who they are.
Yeah, that's the biggest part.
Instead of just being told this nonsense history in school, okay, fine. But I know my family is from Ghana or Cherokee Nation or Chickasaw Kingdom or Apache or Blackfoot or
Nigeria, right.
Ghana, Jamaica, wherever. But you need to know who you are.
Yeah, you do have to know. And like I said, it started with my DNA test, and they got me all the way to this interview.
Like, I haven't done mine yet. My oldest daughter has.
Okay.
Whose mother's from Texas, and they told her, but she did Ancestry. She didn't do African ancestry.
Okay, yeah, I have to do African ancestry.
American is very small, like under 1% or something.
Yeah, they're going to say that because you just have to. Yeah, it's supposed to be more.
That's our claim to the land. They're not going to tell us that. Maybe Howard University or African Ancestry would tell us.
Yeah,
but they're not going to tell us. And then I wonder about Howard sometimes too, because 40% of the FBI and CIA agents are recruited out of Howard University campus, by the way.
I don't know. I know my
By the way,
grandma, her mother was like part Cherokee, so I know my percentage should have been higher.
if you're a carpenter,
Yeah.
use Cherokee.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something else, but you Cherokee if you're a carpenter. That's for
Okay.
sure.
Mm.
Next time I get up in there, I want to go to the graves, not just know, the chart. I want to see where we are from. And for some reason,
Yeah.
2 years ago, that nobody really wanted to do that. They wanted to go to the lake and to the mall over there. And
Oh, they did go to the lake. I didn't know. Yeah, we
yeah, I
should
was
have
at
went
the
to the
lake and they went and got on the boat. I was sitting there with Reverend Castro talking. I didn't want to get on no boat. I
yeah, we
just
should
live
have
in
went
Turks
to
and Caicos. I don't care about water. I want to
yeah.
wherever.
Yeah, we should have went to the grave. I didn't even know that was a option, but I didn't even think about that.
Well,
But
they
yeah,
listed
they
it,
went.
but I like missed it, or not enough people went, or some
I
people
didn't know.
left very early one morning, and I was like, "Well, where are they?" And
Yeah, they
I
didn't
don't know
tell
where the
us.
graves
Yeah,
are. Now, if they gave me
they
the
didn't tell
address,
us.
I would have gone myself, but they didn't publish that.
Yeah, I didn't know either. But yeah, so cousin John, like I said, thank you again. And we'll talk after, the interview, but thank you again for all your information. Like I said, it has helped me. And like I said, it has helped people in general, the USA and outside, because you went to the Bahamas and you went everywhere, Haiti. So yeah, yeah, thank you for your information.
No problem, because like I say, there's more. We can't squeeze it into 2 hours or whatever we've done. What's it been,
So
2 hours?
maybe we'll do a part two then. You gotta let me know where you want to
Well,
start.
I mean, when you're going to edit this or just put it out there, whatever you're going to do, let me know when it's on the channel, because other people, including the call that I got and is asking me now, give me a call when you can. Uh, I wanted to know about the interview, but
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna
So
let you know. I'm gonna let you know when everything is finished editing. You'll be the first person to know, and I'll send you a copy before I, put it up everything.
yeah, well, notify all the carpenters and send the
Yeah,
link.
yeah. I'll let everyone know. I'll put it on the
Carpenter,
page.
Miller, Bryant, and Co. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll put it up on the family page. But there's like I
especially.
said, thank you again. We are so grateful to you. And I have to go. So I'll talk to you soon, cuz.
Sure.
All right, peace.
Bye bye.
Bye.